From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We saw a cloudy and gray day across the area. Very typical November day with temperatures into the upper 40s and a few 50s on the map. We're seeing temperatures today, high temperatures 48 degrees in Lansing, 47 in Howell, and 48 down in Jackson. They're falling back down into the 40s tonight, 45 degrees in Alma, 45 in Lansing, and 43 degrees in Howell right now. We're going to continue to see those temperatures drop just a little bit back down into the low 40s with those clouds sticking around well into the day tomorrow. All the full details coming up in just a little bit. 6 News at 11 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 11.
President Biden in a face-to-face meeting with the leader of China. It's one of his final overseas trips, and it comes at a time of increased tension between the two superpowers. It's our top story at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Ramsey. It's the third time the leaders have talked in person during the Biden administration in an effort to reduce tensions between the countries. However, this final meeting comes against the backdrop of the presidential transition and a threat of tariffs under the second Trump administration. Natalie Brand reports from Peru.
President Biden and Chinese President Xi ignored questions from reporters about how the U.S.-China relationship could change under the Trump administration. They both stressed the importance of the relationship between the two countries and maintaining open lines of communication. The White House says President Biden also raised concerns with Xi about recent cyber attacks linked to China, peace across the Taiwan Strait, Russia's war on Ukraine, artificial intelligence and potential risks of developing AI technology in the military field, as well as the need to maintain human control over the decision to use nuclear weapons. And President Biden noted progress made since his meeting with Xi 1 year ago in California, namely restoring military-to-military communications, which had frozen amid heightened tensions last year. In reflecting on his relationship with Xi over the years, President Biden emphasized the importance of keeping the dialogue going.
These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict. Be competition, not conflict. And how we get along together is going to impact the rest of the world.
President Xi, in commenting on the U.S. presidential election, said his goal of a stable, healthy, and sustainable relationship with the U.S. is unchanged. Xi was also asked a question by a reporter about whether he's worried about the threat of tariffs under the Trump administration. He did not respond. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Lima, Peru.
Police in Jackson County are looking for a man they say crashed into a gas station. It happened yesterday evening at a Marathon gas station in Parma Township. Michigan State Police are investigating and they want to know who this guy is. He's being called a suspect. Troopers say he hit the building with his car and drove off. Both the driver and vehicle were caught on surveillance video, but the license plate number was not. If you know who he is, give state police a call. Today at Michigan State University, people had the chance to experience different nations from all over the world while learning the importance of diversity. Taryn Simmons was there and spoke to a few people about their cultures and the beauty of togetherness.
Have you ever wanted to meet someone from Japan or Russia? Many Michiganders and MSU students were able to at the Global Festival this afternoon. The event was a chance for people to learn and share different pieces of their way of life. Evelyn Chen, who was representing Taiwan, says she was able to experience the beauty of cultural exchange.
And while I shared some facts about Taiwan, they shared some things about their country.
She says her booth was to help educate people about Taiwan.
Most of those misconceptions come from the fact that Taiwan is so small, but it really is just such a populated country with lots of development, urban cities, great food, culture and art.
Yusuf Kajavi Godelo from Kurdistan says the event was a chance to invite people into his nation.
Kurdish people almost are close to 50 million people, biggest nation without the country, without the state.
He says Kurdish people live in parts of Iran, Iraq, and Turkey. A man from Turkey says he was able to learn about other Asian nations like China, Japan, and Indonesia. He says the event was a chance to bring people together.
Sometimes we believe that there's only one culture and it is the culture that we born in. So thanks to the global festival, now we understand that there are other cultures and also listen to their stories.
A moment to understand that no matter what color you are or what language you speak, we are all not so different. Here for you in East Lansing, Taryn Simmons, 6 News.
Thank you, Taryn. And Miss Universe 2024 will be crowned tonight, and there are only a few contestants left. Miss USA was in the running. 22-year-old Alma Cooper is a Mid-Michigan native from Okemos. She is the first active duty officer to win Miss USA. She graduated from West Point and is currently getting her master's at Stanford University. She's been in Mexico for the past 2 weeks as the Miss Universe pageant has gone through preliminaries, the semifinals, and tonight's finals. Alma competed against 130 women from around the world. And although she did not grab the Miss Universe title, she will continue on as Miss USA 2024. And Thanksgiving is almost here. 6 News is kicking off another holiday tradition this year, and we need your help. We want to recognize remarkable women here in Mid-Michigan who make a difference for their families and the community as a whole. To make a submission, click on the Remarkable Women section of our website, WLNS.com, and tell us all about the remarkable woman in your life. We'll pick 4 women and profile them during Women's History Month in March. You have until December 20th to nominate someone.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
It certainly felt like a November day out there as we saw some very gray skies and some cooler temperatures for the day. Let's take a look at our Capital Cam time lapse on our Skyview network. Taking a look across the day, we saw very cloudy skies, very light winds, and maybe just a few peaks of sunshine, but we still just stuck with those clouds throughout the day, and we'll continue with those clouds for tonight. High temperatures today were right around average, a little bit warmer than average, 48 degrees in Mason, 48 degrees in Lansing, and 50 degrees in Charlotte. Jackson, Utah temperatures into the 40s today. As we head into tonight and right now, we're seeing those temperatures back into the 40s, 45 degrees in Lansing, 43 in Howell, and 44 degrees down in Jackson. Overall, we're going to continue to see those temperatures slightly cool down just a little bit more, 42 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and we'll see maybe a slight chance for a drizzle, but I think most of the area will stay dry. That's as our high pressure system continues to push its way to the east, and we have a weak cold front that will be moving in later tonight into early tomorrow morning and into the day tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at that. We see cloudy skies continuing, maybe a few rain showers here or there as we head into early Sunday morning, but it's not going to be a washout as we head into the afternoon. We just stick with those cloudy skies for Sunday afternoon. Moving into Sunday night, that's when we could see a few rain showers moving in, and that will be continuing possibly into some of early Monday morning, but for the most part, we'll stay dry across the area. Heading into tomorrow, we'll see temperatures back into the 50s with mostly cloudy skies, and again, the chance for some drizzly conditions and maybe some patchy fog across the area. As we head into the next couple of days, we'll continue to see these precipitation trends into the 70s and into the 60s as well. So again, we'll continue to see some chances for rain into the week up ahead. Let's track that for you right now. As we head into Monday, we start the day dry, maybe a little bit of some sunshine, but I think we'll see mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon as this warm front moves in with some rain in the forecast. That warm front is going to continue into the day on Tuesday, and we'll see rain throughout the day on Tuesday and Tuesday night as well. Heading into Wednesday, though, we'll stay dry, and then as we head into Wednesday night, we'll continue to see those clouds, and then we'll see this system move in, and that is going to be a low pressure system. Now, we're keeping an eye on this one as it could shift up just a little bit, and if that's the case, we could see some snowflakes mixing in with this rain, but if it moves a little bit further south, that low pressure system could just stay all rain. So right now, it's looking like it's going to be mostly rain with maybe a few snowflakes mixing in, but I think again it's going to be mostly rain, and that will be continuing into the day on Thursday with some rain showers as well, and even into Friday as well. So again, it's going to look like it's going to be a very wet and soggy week up ahead. Not a washout for every every day, just the chances for some rain showers each and every day. Take a look at our 6-day forecast. We see our temperatures warming up each and every day into Tuesday, 60 degrees. Once that warm front passes, though, we fall back down into the 50s and into the 40s for Thursday, 41 degrees. Overnight lows back into the 30s, and for the 6+6 day forecast, we're back with clouds into the forecast with temperatures cooling back down into the 40s for the middle of the week after next.
Thank you, Kelsey.